Barron Trump destroys liberal journalist who tried to ambush his mother Melania. Imagine a room filled with the world's most powerful figures, politicians, business magnates, and media moguls, all gathered in one place. The setting is an extravagant charity gala in the heart of New York, a city known for its glamour and grandeur. As the evening unfolds, the air is thick with conversation, the soft clinking of glasses, and the gentle hum of high-stakes discussions. Chandeliers hang above, casting a soft, golden glow on the guests, who are elegantly dressed in their finest attire, sipping champagne and exchanging ideas about everything from world politics to the latest business ventures. Among this exclusive crowd stands one person who draws everyone's attention, Melania Trump. Dressed in an exquisite gown that seems to shimmer in the light, she exudes grace and sophistication. Despite the media frenzy and controversies surrounding her husband, she carries herself with unwavering poise, as if the world's troubles are far behind her. Her presence, though, speaks volumes. She is more than just a former First Lady. She is an advocate for causes close to her heart, particularly in the realm of children's education and humanitarian work. As she steps up to the stage, the room falls silent. All eyes are now on her as she prepares to deliver a speech that promises to not only captivate the room but also spark a wider conversation. Her words, poised and powerful, are about to turn the spotlight onto the future, on the young minds of tomorrow and the efforts required to give them the education they deserve. As Melania finishes her speech, a moment of quiet applause fills the air, the crowd clearly impressed by her words. But just as she begins to step down from the stage, a voice cuts through the room, breaking the elegant atmosphere. A liberal journalist, David Calloway, stands up, his face intense with determination. Without hesitation, he launches into a provocative question, his voice echoing through the hall. "How can you, Mrs. Trump," he says loudly, "stand by and support your husband's actions, especially when they have so deeply divided the nation?" The crowd goes still, sensing the sudden shift in energy. The usual hum of conversation comes to a halt as all eyes turn toward the journalist. Some in the room exchange knowing glances, anticipating that this will be the moment everyone talks about the next day. Calloway, not one to back down, presses further. His next words are sharp, his tone accusatory. "You preach about the importance of children's education and humanitarian efforts, but how can we take you seriously when your husband is at the center of so much controversy?" For a brief moment, the room is filled with an uncomfortable silence, the tension almost palpable. Melania stands frozen, her calm composure tested like never before. The crowd watches, waiting for her response, with some smirking, eager to see how she'll handle the ambush. Calloway doesn't stop there, he continues his assault, questioning Melania's credibility as a role model. "If you truly care about children's futures," he challenges, "how can you stand by a man who's been accused of actions that undermine the values you claim to support?" The room holds its breath as the scene unfolds, unsure of how this intense moment will play out. Some guests look uncomfortable, while others seem to almost enjoy the drama unfolding in front of them. The atmosphere has completely shifted from one of admiration to one of confrontation, and it's clear that this unexpected clash is about to become the focal point of the evening. Just as Melania stands frozen, struggling to find the right words, a surprising figure rises from the crowd. It's Barron Trump, now 17 years old, his presence commanding attention. He strides confidently toward the stage, his movements deliberate and calm, but there's a noticeable shift in the room. The guests are caught off guard, they weren't expecting Barron to step in. As he reaches the stage, the crowd watches in stunned silence. Barron, who had always been a more reserved figure, now stands tall, his posture strong and assured. With a composed look on his face, he positions himself directly between his mother and the persistent journalist. His actions speak volumes. This isn't just a moment of defense for his mother, but a clear statement of his own maturity and confidence. Without hesitation, Barron speaks, his voice cutting through the tension. "That's enough." His words are calm, but they hold a firm authority that makes it clear he's not backing down. The crowd is stunned. This quiet young man, who had rarely been in the spotlight, has suddenly become the center of attention. His presence is undeniable, and the entire room seems to lean in, waiting to see what he will do next. For a moment, no one dares to speak. Barron's gaze is steady, his posture radiating confidence as he stands there, a silent shield for his mother. The once timid son of Donald Trump has transformed before their eyes into a young man who exudes strength and conviction. His intervention isn't just a protective gesture for his mother, it's a show of independence and authority that surprises even the most seasoned figures in the room. The journalist, momentarily taken aback, doesn't know how to respond. Barron's quiet confidence has thrown him off balance. The guests, who had been eagerly awaiting a response from Melania, now find themselves captivated by the unexpected turn of events. The room, which had been filled with tension, now holds a new kind of energy, one that's shifted entirely to Barron, who, in that one moment, has managed to take control of the situation and command the respect of everyone present. Calloway, momentarily stunned by Barron's intervention, quickly regains his composure. With a scoff, he tries to reassert his dominance, mocking Barron's boldness. "Oh, and now the president's son is giving a lecture on media ethics," he says, his tone dripping with sarcasm. But Barron doesn't flinch. He stands his ground, his voice calm yet firm as he looks directly at Calloway. "No," he replies smoothly, "I'm showing you what respect looks like." The room falls silent again as Barron's words hang in the air, sharp and unapologetic. The young man is not just defending his mother, he's challenging the very nature of the journalist's attack. His response is measured, yet it carries an undeniable weight, showing that he is not intimidated by the situation. Barron doesn't stop there. He turns the tables on Calloway, questioning the journalist's true motives. "You didn't ask about my mother's work, about her efforts to help children or her dedication to humanitarian causes," he says, his voice steady, but his eyes unwavering. "You only aimed for a political attack, trying to use her as a pawn in your game." The crowd, which had been holding its breath, now seems to shift in its attention. Calloway, for the first time, seems to struggle with how to respond. The confident and sharp-tongued journalist, who had so easily thrown the first stone, is now faltering in the face of Barron's quiet strength and moral clarity. The power dynamic in the room is shifting. What was once a battle of words between a seasoned journalist and a former first lady has now become a confrontation between the press and the son of the very man they have tried to tear down. As Barron continues to speak, Calloway's attempts to counter his words fall flat. There's no quick-witted comeback that can undermine the young man's calm authority. Barron's challenge isn't just about defending his mother, it's about showing that the narrative being pushed by the journalist has no place in this moment. With every word, he's stripping away the veneer of the attack and exposing it for what it is, an attempt to stir up division, rather than engage in a meaningful conversation. The shift in the room is palpable. The guests, who had once been intrigued by the journalist's provocation, now seem to realize that Barron has taken control of the conversation. The tone of the evening has completely changed, and it's clear that the young Trump has earned the respect of everyone present. As the room remains tense, a wealthy businessman in the crowd, who has been quietly observing the exchange, finally speaks up. His voice is loud enough to be heard across the room, and it carries a sense of authority. "This is a charity event," he says, his tone firm and unwavering, "not a political ambush." His words seem to resonate with others in the crowd, as murmurs begin to spread. The shift in the atmosphere is undeniable. People start to realize that Barron has not only stood his ground but has shifted the entire momentum of the conversation. Some of the journalists, who had been eagerly watching for any signs of weakness in Barron, now look uncomfortable. They had hoped for a viral moment, a confrontation that would play into their narrative, but instead, they find themselves in an unexpected situation. Barron, calm and composed, has taken control of the room, and they know it. The once dominant figure in the conversation, Calloway, is now on the defensive. His attempts to regain the upper hand seem weak in comparison to the confidence and clarity Barron has shown. Realizing he needs to respond, Calloway tries to brush off Barron's challenge with a dismissive laugh. "Oh, come on," he scoffs, "you're just a kid. You don't understand how the world works. You're young and naive." His words are meant to belittle Barron, to reduce him to nothing more than a teenager with no real understanding of the situation at hand. But Barron is unfazed. In fact, he's more than ready for this moment. His response is sharp and measured, delivered with the weight of someone who has witnessed the worst of the media's attacks on his family for years. "I've watched people like you attack my family for years," he says, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "But tonight, you picked the wrong fight." The room goes silent again, and this time, there's a sense of awe in the air. Barron's words are not just a defense of his mother, they are a declaration of strength, of resilience, and of a deep understanding of the relentless scrutiny his family has faced over the years. The power in Barron's response is palpable, and the crowd begins to shift even further. People start nodding, some even murmuring in approval, recognizing the truth in his words. The businessman who spoke up earlier is now joined by others in the room who are starting to see this as more than just an attack on a family, they're seeing it as a moment of personal conviction and bravery. Calloway, who had hoped to expose weakness, is now left scrambling to regain his footing, but it's clear that the crowd has already made its decision. The momentum has fully shifted in Barron's favor. What began as a confrontation between a journalist and a former First Lady has now become a battle for respect, and Barron Trump has emerged as the one in control. Calloway, now visibly flustered and desperate to salvage his position, tries one last-ditch retort. He stammers, his words faltering as he searches for something to regain control. But before he can get another word out, Barron calmly cuts through the noise. His voice is clear, steady, and confident as he looks directly at Calloway. "You wanted to make this about politics," Barron says, his gaze unwavering, "but from where I stand, the only person making a spectacle is you." The room falls into a stunned silence for a brief moment, as Barron's words sink in. The young man has delivered his final blow, a remark so sharp and pointed that it cuts right to the heart of the situation. He's turned the tables completely, flipping the narrative from one of political attack to a simple truth: Calloway's actions have been the true spectacle. And then, as if on cue, the room erupts into applause. The sound is deafening, as even the skeptics in the crowd begin to recognize that Barron has not only stood his ground but has completely dominated the moment. His words were not just a defense of his family, they were a declaration of his own strength and maturity. Barron's calm demeanor, his ability to handle the pressure, and his powerful final statement have all earned him the respect of those who were watching, and the applause that follows is a clear sign that he has won this battle. Calloway, on the other hand, realizes in that moment that he has lost. The confidence that had once defined him is now replaced by a sense of defeat. His smirk fades, and the arrogance that had fueled his questioning disappears. With a heavy sigh, he lowers the microphone, clearly aware that the crowd has already made its judgment. The game is over, and Barron has emerged victorious. The room that had once been filled with tension now feels lighter, the air cleared by Barron's powerful words and unwavering presence. It's clear that, in this moment, the young Trump has proven that sometimes the greatest strength comes from the calmest response. Calloway, his face red with embarrassment, retreats from the spotlight. He knows deep down that he's been outplayed, and there's no coming back from the verbal defeat he's just suffered. The crowd, which had once been on the edge of their seats waiting for his next move, now watches in complete silence as he walks away, his shoulders slumped in defeat. The confidence that had fueled his earlier attacks is completely gone, replaced by the realization that he has lost this battle. Beside Barron, Melania stands tall, her poise unwavering even in this tense moment. As the room begins to settle, she gently adjusts Barron's suit jacket, a small but powerful gesture that speaks volumes. It's not just a mother's touch, it's a sign of pride and approval for the young man who has not only defended her but also stood up for what's right. The gesture is subtle, but to those watching, it's clear that Barron has earned her respect in a way that words alone could not express. The silence in the room is quickly replaced by a standing ovation. The applause grows louder and louder, not just for Melania, but for Barron as well. The guests, who had initially viewed him as little more than the quiet son of a former president, now recognize him as someone who has proven his strength, his intelligence, and his ability to command attention when it matters most. The shift in perception is undeniable. Barron Trump is no longer just a background figure, he has stepped into his own, and the world is watching. The once awkward teenager has become a symbol of confidence and resilience, and the applause continues, echoing through the room as the crowd acknowledges his victory. What a moment that was! Barron Trump didn't just defend his mother, he showed everyone that he is a force to be reckoned with. In a room full of powerful people, it was the young Trump who commanded attention and respect. His calm, confident response to the confrontation left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. Barron stepped out of the shadows of his family's legacy and stood tall, proving that sometimes the strongest voices come from the most unexpected places. So, what do you think? Did Barron handle this situation perfectly? Was it a display of strength and maturity, or did he go too far? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this powerful moment and want to see more captivating stories like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. We've got plenty of exciting content coming your way, so make sure you're part of it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.